Welcome to another edition of the Evolution of Sports Talk Television, live here from Raymond James Stadium after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Miami Dolphins 24-14 to end the preseason. So how do we start off this show as we always do here on a Monday, Wednesday, before and after Bucs games? You know them, you love them, you got to have them. Bring your passion, bring your excitement, just don't bring any nonsense. So what do we think, Bucs fans? I mean, you get a chance to see a lot of that first-team offense, but what you got to see, very magical. Just saying. They went down the field at will. 7 plays, 70 yards. Baker Mayfield, 3 for 3, 54 yards there. Rachaad White, impressive. Chris Godwin gets in on it with the screen pass. You get a big-time screen down the field for White. I mean, these are the kind of things that you didn't necessarily see from this offense last year. And then probably the most impressive play of the night, Jalen McMillan. And I think McMillan has put everybody on notice. I think everybody around the NFL should take notice of this wide receiving core with a Mike Evans, because you know that he's there. He didn't play tonight. Good decision. Definitely think it's a good decision because you know what you're getting from the Pro Bowler, eventual Hall of Famer. Chris Godwin plays in that first drive. But Jalen McMillan, all throughout training camp, this game right here, Baker Mayfield throws the ball in double coverage, but gives his receiver the opportunity, but the receiver makes the play. We've seen that throughout training camp, and we saw it tonight. I think the NFL should be put on notice at this point that this could be 3 of the top wide receivers in the National Football League. Once again, I'm your host, Peter Blake. All the phone lines. Definitely want to talk to you tonight here live from Raymond James Stadium. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Definitely want to read some of these comments as I've been down. Sorry about that. Was expecting a little bit of help, but it is what it is. Just work with me tonight. So let's go out to Roger Shue here. First, doing my job. Let me acknowledge me. Let me go out to Scott Broadway with the W. Absolutely. A W is what you wanted for your birthday. A W is what you get. All right, first team offense was looking fire. So many weapons. LFG. Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we kind of talked about here the last couple of months. And you start to see that come to fruition. Leo Ward, who was supposed to join me, but he'll join me on the phone. That's what we've been discussing throughout the offseason and through training camp. And the excitement should be there for Bucs fans. It should be. Absolutely. You should be excited about this offense. I mean, I know a lot of people would say, well, why don't you play Baker Mayfield and this first team offense more? What else do you need to see? Obviously, Todd Bowles saw enough. Liam Cohen has seen enough. I tell you what the most exciting thing is, because we can sit here all day long and blab about the outside weapons, but how about that offensive line? Did you hear from anybody tonight on that offensive line? Remember what I told you when we do this show and you watch football? You know what the best part about it is? Not hearing an offensive lineman's name. Because when you hear that offensive lineman's name, that means they messed up. Graham Barton, impressive once again. He's your starting center. Tristan Wirfs with the block on the screen pass to free up. That's what I'm most impressed about. What about you? 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Let me go out to Christopher Cole. Finally, an opening drive touchdown. Right. I'm sitting right next to J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated, and he absolutely tweeted that out. They didn't have a first drive touchdown. I get it. It's preseason football. It's the last preseason football game of this year. It may not be against Miami's first team starters, but it's still impressive. That's the way you want to come out. Bucs fans, do you think this first team offense is ready for the Washington Commanders on September 8th. Again, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. So impressive. And I mean, there's not much more you could say. There's plenty of what you can say. Awesome game. Absolutely. Let's go. Where is that? There it is. Let's go out to Christopher Cole here. Dominant fashion. Absolutely. Fire those cannons. We shall. Let's go out to Ben and made it look easy. Yeah, 7 plays and 70 yards. That's pretty damn good. 3:05, 3 minutes and 5 seconds, I believe it was, on the clock. So Baker Mayfield, impressive tonight. I thought Kyle Trask was somewhat impressive. Maybe not necessarily on third down, but overall, he's going to be your backup quarterback. He made some throws tonight. You look at the numbers as I'm getting the numbers up right now as we speak. He finished with 17 for 24, 141 yards and 2 touchdowns, and had some really good throws. And the throw that I like is in that second quarter where that blitz is coming. You can see it from the press box. It's coming from the side. Trask knows he's going to get hit, and he's still able to make that throw to Johnson, who most likely will make this team, because we've heard about it. We've heard about how number 9 has been impressive. We've heard about it. So he makes that throw. You get that first down on fourth down. That's so impressive. It really is. And Cameron Johnson. I don't know why I'm losing track here of names. But Cameron Johnson, he's most likely going to be not only your speed threat, because you saw some in arounds tonight, but he's also going to be your special teams threat. But I like that throw. I like you understanding. You've been in the NFL. You know you're going to get walloped. You know you're going to get sawed in half, and you're still able to make that throw under pressure. Impressive. And then once again, Sean Tucker. I mean, there are so many great things that you can take out of this game. So I definitely want to hear from you. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391 as your Tampa Bay Buccaneers defeat the Miami Dolphins 24-14 live here from Raymond James Stadium. I'm your host, Peter Blake, here on the Sports Web. Let's go out to Instagram. No comments there. Let's go out to Broadway. Awesome birthday present. Thank you, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Once again, thank you for tuning in.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Broadway again. All right. Christopher Cole was probably Miami's backups on defense that first drive. It may have been. You know, that's what preseason's for. Preseason is, to get your opportunities there, to get your reps in. It's for evaluation. And I know their fans are complaining about it. You want to see more, but why risk the injury? It goes back to what we talked about in the monologue. They sat Mike Evans because they don't need to see anything from Mike Evans. And they sat Levante David because they don't need to see anything from Levante David. Let's go out to the phone lines. Let's go out to the tribal troll.
Acknowledge me.
Let's go out to Roger Shute from Newport Richie. Welcome to the evolution of Sports Talk Television live here at Raymond James Stadium.
Let's acknowledge Peter Blake on the field at Ray J.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Well, it looks like you're the only one left in the entire freaking building.
That's true, because it usually takes me, like I said, I always tell, Bucs Nation, the web heads on this show, just be patient with me because, I got to set up this desk, got to set this up. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes.
I've been with you on live shots. I know how long it takes to set up your stuff and tear it all down. It's insane.
I'm telling you right now, the NFL people tonight that were on the sideline, thank you very much, because I was having such a difficult time to get this stupid desk on. And I finally got it on, but everything else has worked out fine. I sound good. You said I didn't have sound before. Of course, I didn't push the button for USB, so that happens sometimes. That's
good job.
Right, just a simple thing like that. Yes,
it's live TV.
It is. It's definitely live. Yes. So, what's on your mind tonight, Roger?
Caleb Williams is my quarterback.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. So, do you think he's ready for the season at this point?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Anything about the Bucs? And no congratulations at all? Have you
Oh, yeah,
changed?
well, I was getting to that. You didn't give me a chance.
Okay.
Jesus.
Okay. All right.
Congratulations on a solid win over the Miami Dolphins.
It's a solid win, definitely. 2-1 preseason there. You lose to Jacksonville, but everything else I thought was pretty impressive, especially when it comes to this offense. So,
Yeah, Bears 4-0 in preseason, but
yep.
who's keeping track?
Well, preseason really doesn't matter, does it?
It does not at all.
It does not matter. It's all about evaluation at the end of the day, and it's also about not having any major injuries. And if you're the Bears, which you didn't have any major injuries, I think the safety got hurt the other night, but no major injuries to your offensive lineman, nothing like that. Same thing with the Bucs.
I'm just glad football's back.
I am too. Definitely glad it's back. Sure. Absolutely. All right, what else is on your mind?
That's about it, man. I was looking forward to the rest of the show.
All right, man. Appreciate you as always.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. See ya. Open phone line 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Live here from Raymond James Stadium after your Tampa Bay Buccaneers go 2-1 in this preseason after defeating the Miami Dolphins. Let me go back out to the phone lines here. I think this guy wanted to call in, so we'll get what he wants to say here. I believe this is Broadway. Well, there you go. He's not there, so I don't know what's going on. All right, so we'll continue to read these comments from you webheads out there. Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Wow, looks like nobody came to play in Atlanta except the Jaguars, 31-0 Jaguars. Yeah, I mean, again, it's so easy to sit there and say nobody came to play and preseason doesn't really matter. And to a certain degree, it really doesn't matter. What matters is, again, staying healthy and evaluating those players. And I tell you right now, some of the players that you could look at that may make this team, possibly a Cody Thompson. He was impressive tonight, has been impressive. And there's talk, I think that Raheem Jarrett is not going to start the season on this roster. In fact, he's going to go to the IL. So that is going to open up a spot. And that was one of the things that we kind of looked at. Who's going to be your top 3 receivers? Who's going to be your top 4 receivers? Who's going to be your top 5 receivers? Your top 3 right now are pretty much edge and stone. It's going to be Mike Evans. It's going to be Chris Godwin. And it's going to be Jalen McMillan. And then after that, Trey Palmer. Most likely Cody Thompson. And whoever else. All right. The lights are going out. So we'll see if we can stay with this. This is what happens. Let's go out to Scott. Happy birthday boy.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got the birthday present ever. And let me just say, we have a kicker.
Well, that was, I know, listen, that was the other thing here, Scott. A lot of people were looking at, and I pointed that out. That was one of the main things that you had to focus on tonight, because 2 straight weeks, Chase McLaughlin has missed field goals. So tonight, they give him the opportunity to kick that 51-yard field goal, and it certainly seems like Chase McLaughlin is ready for the season.
And what about contrast connecting with Ron Miller? Man, that was awesome.
Yeah, it was definitely a good throw there. It was Tanner Cano. Tanner Cano. That's who it was for the touchdown. You're exactly right. Cano. Yes, it's a fun name to say. Awesome. Cano. Yes.
And Rashad White, man, he did some work tonight. But I want to get your opinion on the interception that was ruled incomplete.
Well, you're talking about the touchdown there. They took off the board.
Yes.
They called the tuck rule. I don't know how they did that. Again, it seems like, referees are in, and I'm producing on air here, so stand by. It certainly seems like referees are in season form at this point, because they missed a couple calls tonight. That call in itself, because it looked like Brown there had the fumble, caused the fumble, and Greer goes in for the touchdown. And then on top of that, you also had the replay, which I don't understand how they could replay it. I guess the flag was on the field, but they still allowed the Bucs to run that play when they reviewed the McMillan catch. And of course, it went the Bucs' manner. But, in my opinion, if the Bucs start a new play, there should be no review at that point, right?
Right.
So
that was why I was confused. But we have a great offensive line. We have a great defensive line. And we have a great running game and a great wide receiver game.
Well,
so
and I feel like, again, not only should we be excited about, this offense, but this offensive line. You got to be excited about this offensive line. Once again, Graham Barton, guys stepping up there. It looks good. It looks good to me. I don't know about you.
He's a tank. He's a tank, and he's going to protect our offensive players.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what's going on.
You should be, Broadway.
What's going to happen.
You should be, man. I appreciate the call. I'm going to go out to JC Allen here in just a little bit, but thanks a lot for the call. Appreciate you as always. Let's go out to the man that I was sitting next to here. Not making fun of me here because I was eating vegetables tonight. We'll put that picture out there. We had prime rib. You had Foster, and you saw a Bucs offense that clearly was dominant, especially that first drive. JC Allen, welcome to the evolution of sports talk television, of course, in care of Sports Illustrated. How you doing tonight, boss?
I'm doing good. Long time no see. About 20 minutes.
20 minutes ago, yeah. So give me your thoughts besides that first offense. You even talked about it. Kyle Trask missed some throws tonight, but overall as a backup, I like some of the throws that he made, especially on that blitz to Cam Johnson on that fourth down. He showed some strong throws tonight, especially with that offensive line giving him time. What's some other things that you saw besides Chase McLaughlin making his kicks?
Well, yeah, I think, just to talk about that first offense, the biggest thing I wanted to see, okay, when they were in the three interior guys, you were getting good push and getting 4 yards per carry and 5 yards in big gains, and you saw that. You saw that with Shad White. Average 4 yards a carry. You saw Tristan get out and just smack somebody on his long screen pass that he took for 17 yards. So that was really encouraging to me. Jalen McMillan has won the number 3 position. So that's something that set that in stone. But I think, otherwise, the guys who were vying for roster spots really, really made it difficult. It seems like, they rose to the occasion and said, okay, you're going to do this, I'm going to do that. And it started in the trenches along the defensive line with C.J. Brewer and Ernest Brown. Likely both of those guys are competing for that 6th and final defensive tackle spot. And, to me, I think C.J. Brewer kind of edged out Ernest Brown a bit. Obviously, he's been with the Bucs now. This is the second year, was on the practice squad with them all last year. I would look for him to be that 6th defensive lineman. In the secondary, guys that are fighting for practice squad spots, Rashad Wisdom and Marcus Banks. It seems like they're having a hit-for-hit contest there for a minute. Marcus Banks lays out Malik Washington with almost a spear, you could call it, the way he tackled him.
Looked like Goldberg on that. You're exactly right. And I'll go back out to this live shot here. Let me see if I can get this 2 shot. There we go. Yeah, you're exactly right. I mean, it definitely looked like a spear there by Banks. He made some hits tonight. Winston made some hits tonight. That's always a good thing, and that's good for your depth. And look, I understand where the Bucs are coming from. A lot of people would say, JC, why not play your first team offense a little bit more? Do you think they should have played more tonight, or do you like the first drive? Go ahead and expound a little bit.
I didn't think they should have played at all, but you get them out there. They do something the Bucs did not do at all last year. Is score a touchdown on the first possession drive.
Yeah.
You pull them. You've seen enough. You don't need to see any more. They were excellent in the run game. They held up in the pass game, allowed you to do some really good things. Jalen McMillan with a circus catch. He looked amazing. And then same thing on the defense. The defense, and again, take it with a grain of salt. It's preseason. It's very vanilla. And the Dolphins were holding out a lot of their starters on both sides of the ball. But I still think it's encouraging when you look at what they're able to do. Vita Vea just absolutely demolished their center, just pushed them back into no man's land. It was quite something to see on that third down play. But, I think, you did you saw what you needed to see, and that's it. You pull them out. So any longer, you're tempting fate, you're tempting injuries. And I think it was the right amount of time. If maybe they struggled at all, maybe you want to see them. But with the performance they both put out on both sides of the ball, I think you're good to just call it and know what you got going forward.
Yeah, going back to Vea, man, he was impressive. I mean, they just blew up the running game, and you've seen him in training camp more than I have. I mean, he's a spelt Vita Vea. He's down to like 320 or 325, but he still moves like a cat. He was playing at 340, 360. What kind of year do you think Vea could have for this defense?
Yeah, I think he's in shape for a really strong season. He's 5.5, 6.5 sacks the last couple seasons. I know he's got double digits on his mind. Playing next to a guy with Kalijah Cansey that also, draws the attention of other guys, is going to, and a different mold too than Nadam Kasu when he was here.
Right.
Because he was obviously drawing guys too. But I think he's primed for a really strong year. Tackles for losses should go up. I think sacks should go up. It's going to help him stay healthy. It's going to help him stay on the field longer. That's been one of the biggest concerns with a lot of Bucs fans is you're paying Vita Vea all this money, and he's only playing, half of the snaps coming out. So it should allow him to stay in the game longer as well. And I think it's going to be, it all starts in the trenches. It all starts up front. And if you can get interior pressure, that helps everybody else. It helps the corners to be able to make, jump on routes and try to create turnovers. It helps the outside linebackers with their pressure on the outside. If they have to devote more resources on the inside. And when you have two guys like Vita Vea and Cansey right there, it should free up a lot of things for the outside linebackers. And we saw some of them, kind of get to the quarterback and affect his passing in multiple ways with multiple players in there. So bowl scheme is always going to create opportunities for every player at every level to get to the quarterback, and we'll see that throughout the season. And having a Vita Vea the way he is, it only helps that.
Absolutely, and we're on with J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, live here from Raymond James Stadium after the Bucs beat the Dolphins 24-14. With that being said, I'm going to call you a fortune teller. I'm going to start calling you Miss Cleo here because you were predicting Chris Braswell with the sack, and sure enough, we haven't seen a lot from this young man, but he showed up tonight with that sack, got a good pressure there. Before that, forced to pass. So how do you see, not only Braswell and what kind of impact he can make for this team, in your opinion, but also that outside linebacking core, that outside linebacking room?
Yeah, I think Braswell needed that. I didn't get a chance to talk to him after the game. A lot of the guys kind of booked it Friday night, they're out of there. But I think you looked at his performance throughout the preseason and training camp. There were some ups, there were some downs, some learning moments. Last week he had some good pressures. If one of those sacks, if Jose didn't get him first, Braswell was going to be there. Then he got blocked by a receiver. You never like to see that.
Right.
But came back today with solid pressures and he got the sack. And I think that's something that the Bucs are really looking forward to him. Kind of, you want to be a big part of this rotation, you got to show us. And I think that sack went a long way for his confidence. And for the Bucs' confidence in trusting him to be a pivotal part of that rotation. I expect them to get all the guys involved. They did it last year with Marquise Watts. It wasn't a lot, but I expect them to get everyone involved. Todd Bowles had a nice moment with Jose Ramirez talking to him. I couldn't really overhear exactly what they were saying, but he put his hands on the shoulder, and I'm sure, went something like, "I'm really proud of you and what you've accomplished." Somewhere along the lines, again, I'm just kind of paraphrasing and using my thoughts on what was said, but you could tell it was a term of acknowledgement and endearment to him. And, Jose's earned it. Last year he was on the practice squad, and every week we would hear from Tristan and we'd hear from Luke about the fits that he gives them on the scout team. And, he worked on his body, he worked on his game, and it showed off last week and it showed off this week as well, getting some solid pressure on the quarterback. So there's going to be a rotation. I think they keep all 6 of those guys. I don't think they ever needed, he who not be named, who never showed up. I thought.
Hold on a sec. Hold on a sec here. Gregory.
So I think, I think they'll be fine with that. And Yaya to get the start. I think Yaya's going to have a monster season. And I think JTS is going to have a bounce back season. Probably priced himself out of the range for the Bucs to re-sign him, but I thought he was going to kind of be out of range anyways, just because of his talent in other areas. But getting to the quarterback, and you've got a solid depth of guys to go to now, young guys who are hungry and want to prove themselves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. We're on with JC Allen of Sports Illustrated. You know, going back to it, there was a report tonight from television, from Channel 8, that Mike Evans actually turned down more money to go to the Rams and stay with the Bucs. And I'm thinking about this, the Rams and their history with the Bucs, you know, defeating them in 1979 in the NFC Championship. Sorry, Bucs fans. 99 in the NFC Championship, divisional round. I mean, what did you think about that report tonight when you heard that? Because I was kind of shocked by it, and then I'm not, because it's Mike Evans at the end of the day. But God, that would have been such a blow if Mike Evans went to the LA Rams.
Yeah, I think it would have been a blow if he went anywhere, honestly. I mean, the Texans were interested there in a bit. The Chiefs were interested in a bit. The Jets were interested. And I think all three of those and four of those, including the Rams, would have offered Mike more money. But in the end of the day, you know, this wide receiver room, and I talked to Cam Johnson today after the game because Cody Thompson had a really nice block to spring his 12-yard end-around run that he had. And just the unselfishness of the room. You know, you look at these guys, you know, Mike could have been one of the highest paid receivers, could have gone somewhere and got a big deal. And at the end of the day, you know, it's all about the camaraderie, the family, the room that they built. And they all trust each other, lean on each other, and they want to be there for each other. And at the end of the day, you know, Mike had the opportunity to finish his career potentially with one team. And I think that outweighed the more. And shout out to Ashley, his wife, for saying we should just stay in Tampa Bay, because I think otherwise those opportunities would have kind of been a little bit more realistic. So, you know, I look at this wide receiver room, and, you know, I think they've got, it starts with Mike and Chris, and then now you've got Jalen, who's going to fill that wide receiver 3 role. Trey Palmer will have a role on this team as well. And then I think you got Cam Johnson and Cody Thompson rounding that out. I think that's a pretty solid receiver room. You've got, you know, a little bit more size with Cody Thompson, 6'2", 207, you know, plays special teams, isn't afraid to block, you know, get his nose dirty, as we've seen through preseason, can catch the ball, make big catches, whether that's short, intermediate, or long ones. And then Cam Johnson is just this kind of gadget player where he can do a little bit of everything. You know, he's I think he's a upgraded Devin Tompkins, you know, as far as everything, size, you know, strength, weight, and just ability. So I think they've got themselves a really good wide receiver room going into the regular season. Rakim Jarrett probably starts the season on IR. Probably Tanner Canu makes that roster. Ryan Miller makes that practice squad. And then who knows with Sterling Shepard?
I was thinking of baseball. It's IR. You're exactly right. Going back to that wide receiver, could you talk about Jarrett? And I thought that was, you know, one of those position battles that would be very interesting. You think Cody Thompson has made this team, but from what you've seen, what we know about Evans and Godwin, it's knock on wood, they could stay healthy. They're two of the top wide receivers in the league. But what you've seen from McMillan, in your opinion, should the NFL be on notice with those weapons right now? Because the Bucs could have 3 of the most talented wide receivers in the NFL. Are you ready to go there right now, JC?
I think they're probably in the conversation. I don't think they're at the top of it, but I mean, you got to see what he can do in the regular season against starting units. We saw a little bit of joint practices, obviously not with the Dolphins, because they rest Jalen Ramsey and some of their other high-profile guys in that joint practice. But, you know, Jalen McMillan's been praised by everybody on that roster, from offense to defense to coaches to GM, scouting. Everywhere you look, everyone's got great things to say about Jalen McMillan. He's an old soul type of guy. He's very savvy. He's almost like a veteran in there. He knows how to find those spots in zone. He's proven that he can make tough catches in traffic. One of the biggest things, question marks, was about him was, you know, can he play through, you know, contact coming off the line of scrimmage and going over the middle of the field? And I think he's demonstrated that as well. So, you know, I don't know if I'd put them up there yet. I got to kind of see what he does in regular season, but I definitely think the Bucs got themselves a steal. If you're in a 14-team league, I think you should probably draft him.
That's where I was trying to go. There you
at
go.
some point.
Now you knew the assignment. You understood the assignment.
Right.
So there you go, kids.
I think fit somewhere around 50, 505 isn't out of the question for him at all.
Okay.
I think he's going to have a strong rookie season. I don't think he'll be like rookie of the year or top wideout, with some of these other guys who've been taken, but I think he'll have a really strong rookie season to build upon. And, potentially if, Chris is looking for money the Bucs don't want to pay, be a potential Chris Godwin replacement if he decides to leave in free agency next year or the Bucs don't bring him back.
Biggest concern for you right now with this team on both sides of the ball, offensively first and then defensively, and then you talk about this offensive line because we've kind of talked about it. It's been impressive. It was impressive on that first drive tonight. I know we may be talking too much about it, but really, Graham Barton certainly seems like he could have that same type of impact as Tristan Wirfs. So first and foremost, first concern on the offense, and then first concern on the defense, and then talk about this offensive line.
I think the offense is definitely just depth. I think you've got players everywhere. The offensive line I think is going to be much improved, and it's going to be fine. Bredesen's probably the weak link, but when you've got the other guys on the offensive line, you can kind of make up. And he's going to be playing next to Wirfs and Barton, and I think he'll be fine. He's a very smart player. He's not super athletic, but he is strong, holds up to the point of the attack well, can anchor well. But like if you get injuries at tackle, if you get injury at tight end, if you get injuries, Mike Evans goes down, can you replace him with Trey Palmer in the aggregate? Depends how long. But I think depth is the biggest thing on offense. As far as defense, it's just like, health is a big one, especially at cornerback with Jamel Dean, Kenny, and Jordan Whitehead already nicked up and missing a lot of practice, Kayvon Merriweather. But I think it's just, how quickly can these guys mesh and how quickly can they get the communication down? Because Bulls defense is so intricate, and, on one play, your assignment could be this, but the very next play, it's the same type of, you're coming out of the same look, but your responsibility is this, and you have to be able to communicate and understand what everyone's doing. I think pressures, right? Getting to the quarterback is going to be big on the edge. They don't have a true number one guy. You're hoping Yaya can be that. You're hoping JTS can kind of get to that level, but getting after the quarterback on a consistent basis when you're rushing four, I think is still a primary concern. I think you have the pieces there, but we haven't seen it because Yaya went down so early and JTS was down with an injury. And so we haven't seen that yet. So that's what I really want to see out of that front, that front seven, specifically that front four, being able to get home consistently with four. So you're not leaving your cornerbacks on an island and, forcing them to cover for extended periods of time. You're impacting the throws. And like I said, the offensive line, I'm not really worried about. I think they got good depth along the interior. Tackle spots, that makes me a little bit nervous. You got Schooley out already with an injury. So, I think the starting unit is going to be really good and have the ability to move the chains, move the ball. I can see them jumping from dead last to around 17th in the run game. I think they're going to give Baker plenty of attention. I'm not worried about the passing game. I think that's going to be fine. I think Mike hits us 1,000. I think Chris hits 1,000. Like I said, I think, between McMillan and Kate Otten, you probably get 1,000 there too. So I think the passing game is going to be, between Rashad White and Bucky Irving and the backs, probably, close to another 1,000 there. So I think, they're going to have a really strong passing game. And I think the running game is finally going to complement it, something that we haven't seen in a couple of years. So.
All right, my friend, I appreciate the time. We're going to get out to TJ Reeves of the Buccaneer Radio Network really quick. Go ahead and promote yourself as always. I'm proud of you, man. I know you put out, what was it, like 4 or 5 years now you've been covering the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. But ladies and gentlemen, he started on the sports web right here, the evolution of sports talk television. So once again, JC, go ahead and promote yourself here on the web.
Yeah, check out my Twitter first, JC Allen NFL on Twitter, X, whatever you're calling it. Check out all my work over at Bucs Game Day. I'm gonna have my 53-man roster prediction tomorrow, and my extra point takeaways from the game tomorrow out as well at some point. On top of that, I got a podcast, the Pirate Parlay podcast. We'll be live during the season almost every week. We'll have some special guests, some players, coaches, front office staff as well. So check that out. We've got some good episodes up from the past couple weeks, including Levante David, Liam Cohen, and Todd Bowles. So definitely check all that stuff out. And Peter, I'll see you week 1, and have a good one, my man. Tell TJ I said hi.
Will do, man. JC Allen of Sports Illustrated, thanks a lot for your time. Let me go out to the media icon here. A legend in this business. He's done radio before. He works for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and the Buccaneer Radio Network. The sideline guy himself, Mr. TJ Reeves, as I also call him, the human lottery ticket. Welcome to the Evolution here late night on a Friday night after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers close out the preseason in winning fashion, 24-14. How you doing, TJ? And he's not there. TJ, are you there?
I am trying. Hang on here.
Yeah, I got you. I can hear you.
You got me there on that? Okay. Can you hear me now on the drive home?
I can hear you on the drive home, my friend, and I know you had all kinds of sights and sounds. I mean, give me your initial thoughts after the Tampa Bay Buccaneers close out the preseason, and I think it starts with the first drive, right? I mean, 7 plays, 70 yards. What is it, like 3 minutes in just dominating fashion? I understand the Dolphins may not be playing all their first teamers, but you got to say that was impressive considering that the Bucs all year long last year didn't have a first drive where they scored a touchdown.
Yeah, it was good to see tonight. By the way, I'm concerned for you because I can see you, although I'm not looking constantly at the screen while driving. I'm not breaking traffic laws here. I'm concerned they're going to turn the lights out on you. So we can go for a few minutes, but I'm concerned for my man Peter Blake because I don't want you in darkness, brother, after this one is over tonight.
You know me. I'll be out here all night long as long as they could keep the lights on. You know what? I probably should have brought my lights in the first place because I could stay out here all night long because this is just glorious territory at this point. You know, football is right around the corner. You get an opportunity. I got nowhere to go. I don't have to Uber.
I got you.
So let's talk about it. How impressive did
All right, so back to that opening drive. I mean, with the understanding the Dolphins had reserve defensive players in, and it was a first unit Buck offensive line that was blocking in front of Mayfield, and Godwin's a starter, and Otten's a starter, and Rashad White's a starter. So I get that. But you still wanted some positive reinforcement, right? You wanted to see the first unit offense do some things, which they did, open up some holes for Rashad White, which they did, get something positive, which ends up being a touchdown, and then get out of there because you don't want to get anybody hurt. So that's mission accomplished there tonight. What a great catch by Jalen McMillan. I know it was on the other sideline from where I was, but he did a tremendous job to get the elbow down, the knee down, to make sure that he was in bounds. And so you saw briefly what you needed to see. I know Dave Moore was joking on the air. I think it was on the air. It might have been off the air. He said, if I could have played preseasons where I only played 5 or 7 plays, he goes, I'd have had a 22-year career if I could have played that little in the preseason, because they were always killing you in 2-a-days, and then you're playing parts or most of like 2 or 3 preseason games every year. So we didn't see a lot of the first team, but we saw enough to give us a good taste, and at least, you know, some game speed for the first unit offense and the first unit defense on the first couple drives of the game.
Yeah, and I mean, I thought the most impressive thing defensively was the fact that they were strong against the run, and we know that Todd Bowles, you know, preaches the staple of this defense has to be against the run. You saw Vita Vea. He was a man among boys, and I got to tell you something. With all that weight loss, it looks like it's a good thing here, TJ, because it looked like he was faster at the point of attack. Is that what you saw there on the sideline? And he's gone. So he's gone there. So let me try to give him a call here. Let's try to do it this way. We'll try to do it the old-fashioned way here. I definitely want to hear from him because we lost him on the video there. But this is Evolution. This is the Sports Web. It's a live show. This is what we do. Sometimes, it doesn't necessarily work out. We lost you there, I guess.
All right, wait a minute. Did you lose me there and now I'm on the phone? Is that what the issue is?
You're on the phone now, my friend.
All
yes.
right, my bad. I'm sorry because I'm driving and I'm actually going to pull in and stop.
Okay.
So forgive me, and for the fans, I'm driving home. I didn't get out there with you on the field. I actually came home. By the way, I dropped the Hall of Famer Gene Deckerhoff off at the hotel, and then I'm texting you. Are you still doing a show? You said yes, so I popped on. Anyway, you asked me about Vita Vea and Cansey. We didn't see a lot of them, but man, there's enough to get excited about, my friend. I mean, those two guys. Obviously, Vea is a Super Bowl champion at this point. And is a veteran and a leader, and Cansey is so explosive. Just keep them healthy, please, because if they're healthy, they're going to be a lot of fun disrupting up front and in the middle for the Buccaneer defense.
Yeah, you're exactly right. And again, he was impressive. He's been impressive, everything that I've seen in training. Looking forward to seeing Cansey. I'm looking forward to seeing Yaya Diaby. And I think the encouraging thing tonight was we saw Jose Ramirez last week with 3 sacks. Tonight, we saw Chris Braswell kind of come out and show everybody the reason why the Bucs made him a second-round pick, right?
And Todd Bowles said to me on Buccaneers radio after the game, I said, hey, he splashed and he made a sack tonight. What have you seen in his development? And he said tonight is the first night where he was playing with freedom, with speed, with confidence. That's the guy we drafted, the guy you saw tonight. And he was very encouraged at his development in game 3 of the game. Appears to be slowing down a little bit for him, where he is a little more confident and freer with, okay, I can explode off this block, or I know where my contain lane is. Those kind of things are important when you're playing on the end in the NFL. And as much as he was a quality player and one of the best pass rushers in the SEC, this is not the SEC anymore. I know Alabama's a football factory for the NFL, but this is the NFL. And so I thought that was very interesting what Todd Bowles said after the game, that he saw just at field level live a different and a better Chris Braswell tonight.
In case people missed it on the Buccaneer Radio Network, and again, we're on with TJ Reeves, the great media icon, the human lottery ticket here on the Evolution. It's the Sports Web. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about here live from Raymond James Stadium after the Bucs beat the Dolphins 24-14. In case people did miss it on the radio side, what else did we learn tonight from Todd Bowles or some players that you talked to there, TJ?
I talked to Ryan Miller after the game about the touchdown, and I said, what is that like when that ball is in the air that Kyle Trask threw with such touch on it in the corner of the end zone in the second quarter? Yeah. He did 2 of those, because the second one to Tanner Canu was a similar pass. He threw the first ball a little better. Canu had to adjust to the second ball in the fourth quarter to make the catch. But Ryan Miller, I've heard people talk about this all the time. He said, I'm focused on the ball. Everything gets quiet. I'm not hearing anything. And you're just kind of waiting for a second for that thing to come down. And then you're trying to make sure you've got feet down, possession, the whole thing. And this is going to be a tough call on how many guys can they keep at receiver. And out of Miller and Cody Thompson, what do you do with the veteran Sterling Shepard? I know J.C. Allen was just on with you talking about injured reserve. The problem with that is you have to have those guys, from my understanding, you have to have those guys on the 53-man roster. So they have to be on the roster on the final cut down day, and then you can put them on injured reserve. Yeah. So you're going to otherwise they're gone for the season if they're on injured reserve, is my understanding, before the final cut down. It's because you can't protect guys, but from cut down day by doing that. So that's a real risk where a Cody Thompson, they love Cameron Johnson, this kid that they have found out of, Barton College. They love him too. So it's going to be interesting on how many of those guys can they keep, who ends up on the practice squad. It's quite a battle in the wide receiver room. We know that Evans, Godwin, Palmer, McMillan are safe. Who's the 5th guy? Is there a 6th guy on the active roster? And if that's 6 receivers, is that 1 less tight end? Is it 1 less defensive back because you're trying to keep a 6th receiver? That kind of stuff. These are the debates they're going to have over the next 72 hours.
Yeah, and it happens on Tuesday where they have to get down to that number, and you look at the running back room there. You have White. He was impressive tonight. Of course, he's going to be your starter. You have Bucky Irving. He continues to be shifty at the point of attack and make tacklers miss. And you have the unknown, which, I wasn't sure if he was going to make this team to begin this offseason, and Sean Tucker, who continues to impress. So, honestly, the odd man out here may be Chase Edmonds at this point, right?
Yeah, and we haven't seen him at all.
Yeah.
And as much as he's a veteran, and I talked to Sean Tucker on Buccaneers Radio after the game, and I asked him, I said, hey, what's the difference right now in this Liam Cohen offense? And he said, paraphrasing, they have created holes with the zone blocking and the explosiveness at the point of attack, and that makes it easier right now to put your foot in the ground and cut back. Again, it's preseason. You're going against backup defenses, so I get that. But at least right now, you're seeing some signs that this run game can really have some success. Not the biggest backs in the world, but, man, is Bucky Irving explosive when he puts that foot in the ground, and he does not lose yardage.
No. He's
hitting people. He's falling forward. So there's a lot to be encouraged about with what the Bucs have at running back depth right now.
And I, you talk about the screen game a little bit. You saw that tonight happen. You like seeing that. You haven't seen a lot of that from this offense the last couple of years, so it's great to see that. You've also seen the offensive line. You've been on the sideline before. What have you seen from Graham Barton that should excite a lot of Bucs fans? Because I'm telling you right now, I believe he can make the same type of impact that Tristan Wirfs did, where you don't hear his name on the broadcast because he's so good and he's so technically sound, and he's going to make that impact for that line to not only open up those holes to those running backs, but also protect Baker Mayfield.
Well, and again, there's only so much I can see at field level on the interior offensive line, and you're getting a better view up high in the press box where you are, or certainly the people that are watching on TV that are getting replays, etc. And again, you know this, we have to temper. This is preseason. You're going against backups.
Right.
That first unit offensive line was going against backup Miami defensive linemen. But did you see the holes that Rachaad White had through the middle of the offense on the first drive?
Yeah.
That's partially Graham Barton in the middle there, moving people out of the way, along with Malk on the right, or the new left guard, Peterson. So for the small sample size tonight, we saw encouraging things, and there are a lot of high hopes for what kind of year Barton can have in the middle of this offense, because bear in mind, Robert Hainsey was doing the best that he could, but he was not a true center trying to play center out of necessity because of the injury to Ryan Jensen over the last couple of years. And Barton actually played left tackle at Duke last year, but he is a natural center. That's what he played in high school. That's what he played his first couple of years at Duke. So I think there's a lot to be hopeful about. Let's just temper it. We've got to see it in the regular season, because you're going against monstrous defensive tackles week in and week out that you've got to move out of the way. And now let's see that happen. The next challenge is let's see it in the regular season.
My friend, it struck. It is midnight now, so 15 days until football season starts. Give me a TJ take here, final take here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television.
Excited for this third year for Todd Bowles. Excited because you've got a lot of pieces here. A lot of pieces. I mean, there are a bunch of teams that would look at Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rachaad White, Cade Otton, and say, man, we'd like to have a couple of those guys. And defensively, when you're talking about Vea and Cansey in the middle, healthy Yaya Diaby on the right end, maybe Braswell some on the left end, veteran like Levante David in the middle, Antoine Winfield behind him in the middle, there's a lot to be excited about. There are a lot of pieces that are in place. Can it come together? Can this team play with confidence? They played with a chip on their shoulder last year. We've talked about this numerous times.
Yeah.
Everybody outside of our market believed horrible season. No more Tom Brady. Baker Mayfield's been passed around like the offering plate at church. Who wants him? This is going to be a 3-win situation, maybe 4. And lo and behold, we saw right off the jump a win at Minnesota, later a win in New Orleans in September. We saw this team get off to a good start. And that good start paved the way that even though they had struggles in the middle of the year, that they could win games at the end of the year and win the division and make the playoffs. Well, now you come back around with expectation. I believe most people think this is an 8 or 9 win team at least. They're not joking around saying 3-win awful Buccaneers. So how do you handle the expectations? How do you handle the belief that you're supposed to be the division champs and a playoff team? And I think you got enough playoff players, playoff previous success, including Super Bowl champions. Let us not forget Evans, Godwin, Wirfs, Levante, Winfield, Jamel Dean. They all won a Super Bowl, Peter. You know this.
Yes.
That means something when we get to this time of year and starting a new season where those guys can lead in the locker room on what it takes. So I'm excited. Let's do it for real now coming in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely. 15 days away until the Tampa Bay Buccaneers play the Washington Commanders. September 8th here. We got you covered live here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television in collaboration with the JP Peterson Show, the media icon himself, TJ Reeves. Thanks a lot for your time here on the Sports Web, my friend. All right.
You kept me company on the drive home. Get out of there safely. Don't let them turn the lights out on you. Anytime you need me, let me know.
Yes, sir.
And we're ready for the Bucs season. And I know I caught some of the coverage with JP in Dublin, Ireland. That is tremendous for this Florida State game, which will now be on in about 11 and a half hours. We got college football in 11 and a half hours from Ireland.
I know.
So
I
great
know.
time of year.
Yeah.
Great time of year. And keep up the great work on the Sports Web, Peter Blake.
Will do, my friend. Thanks a lot, TJ Reeves. We'll see you soon here on the Evolution. All right.
Yes, sir.
All right, good stuff there. You're exactly right. Florida State. I mean, he said Florida State, so you know I got to play it. There you go. I love it. All right, so I'm going to read the rest of these comments unless there is a phone call out there. Open phone line, 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. We'll read the rest of these comments, and then we will get out of here. In fact, got to get this guy on really quick.
Mr. Kennedy!
All right, best of the Bay, Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy. You're on the Evolution quickly, because hopefully they don't turn on the lights on me. Turn off the lights on me, yes.
Did they just play that god darn Florida State fight song again, the chop song?
I did. I played it because, like TJ said, 11 and a half hours, they're playing Georgia Tech. So I got to get up
it's
in a
tomorrow
couple.
It's tomorrow in Dublin.
It
yes.
is tomorrow in Dublin, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm going to get up early, go do some Uber, make some money, and then come back and watch
the game.
There you go. Exactly. I may do that.
There you go, brother.
I may do that.
Great show. I just did a little message in the back room there. I said, "Did you hear what J.C. Allen and what the sideline? Did you hear what J.C. Allen, the sideline guy, TJ Reeves, said on that other show they were on post game?"
Yeah. Well, is there anybody on right now? Because I don't know.
No, this is the only game in town. You got J.C. Allen of Sports Illustrated. You got the Buccaneers sideline guy, TJ Reeves. And I'm just reminding everybody, why would you go anywhere else for your Bucs news? Not only is it just Bucs talk, and it's good Bucs talk, but it's inside scoop Bucs talk.
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
Yes.
Tampa Bay, Ray Kennedy.
And brother, I want you to get done because I know it's a late day and you've been out there all day, but I want to tell you, this Buccaneers team came to play tonight. The defensive backs were knocking balls out. They were fighting for every inch. You know, you didn't know which guys were going to make this team. You didn't know which guys had a shot to, maybe make the practice squad. But what I know is that the 53 or the 90 players that went in there tonight, Todd Bowles had them ready to go out there and do their job. And that's all you can do. You don't know what Jaden Daniels does in 2 weeks. You don't know what not Ron Rivera, but you don't know how Dan Quinn has planned. That's all part of the script.
Yeah.
But man, the way this Buccaneers team played tonight, they locked it down. And there was not one thing that happened to me you look at and you go, oh, it just didn't happen. It was fantastic. And I'm so glad you're there to cover it for us because it's exciting. We got time to get ready for the first game. Jaden Daniels is coming in here, the big Jaden Daniels, talking about what he's doing now that he came to Washington, coming from LSU. And we had a chance to see him up close during the ReliaQuest Bowl last year because he was their dog, although he never played. He's a big guy. Big arm, makes some good reads, but the truth of the matter is he needs time to learn to read NFL offenses. The intricacies, you can prep him for the next 2 weeks. The intricacies change most all over the time. So That's going to be a good thing. I am a little worried about Jaden Daniels because he is a dog of a quarterback. I just don't think he's a dog of a quarterback to take them to where they want to be this year. But Peter, you and Leo, the way you guys locked it down, getting the interviews in here, this is all I ask for after a game like this. The inside scoop, the outside scoop. Who's hurt? Who's not? Who's looking good?
Yes.
And brother, you brought it through. You brought it through. Leo brought it through. And then our guy, our TJ Reeves brought it through. So thank you guys so much.
Absolutely. Tampa Bay Ray, a great call as always. Get some sleep, and we'll see you soon here on the Evolution. All right, my friend?
I'll be here, and I got my Sunday show Sunday morning. I'm going to wrap this all up. I'm going to tell us all what this means. I'm going to tell them that, what happened here and the players and who's going to stay and who's going to go, and it's going to be a beautiful thing. And then we're going to go ahead and start, after we get that done, that's when we start figuring out how we're going to use these pieces to go get ready to go get Dan Quinn and those Washington Commanders when they come down here in 2 weeks. Because guys, girls, don't lose your sight of the fact that this team, this Buccaneers team, this third year in a row winning the South, this is the team that wins this division. Other teams can come in, but they're going to get bitch slapped. This is our team to win, and that's exactly what goes on. And when I saw it tonight, that's exactly what happened. Kyle Trask moves it down, throws the ball. Kyle Trask moves it down, throws the ball. I mean, the running back, Tucker, runs the ball. And yeah, I like him, but the running back, CC, what was the running back we're talking about?
Bucky Irving, Chase Edmonds. Chase Edmonds, yeah.
We love Chase Edmonds in Minnesota or over at Buffalo. Chase Edmonds was a dog, but Chase, you're a dog, but we don't need that dog in this.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of dogs in that room right now. Tampa Bay Ray, I'm going to wrap it up right there. Thanks a lot for the call, man. Appreciate you. As always, my friend.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you soon, all right?
Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I'll be over at your house getting in bed, putting my I'll see you tomorrow.
What? Get out of here. Will you shut up and be quiet? I don't know what he's talking about. Let me go out to Curtis here. Curtis, welcome to the Evolution after the Bucs win 24-14 over the Dolphins. Your thoughts?
God, how could you not love that offensive line?
Yeah, I'm telling you. Yeah. It's great.
It's very relieving.
It looks good, man. It really does. And I think that's probably the most exciting thing that people should be impressed by is that offensive line at this point, because they are opening up those holes, just like TJ said, especially in the middle and interior part of that defense where White is finding those holes and finding those extra yards, which he didn't have because it was 2 to 3 yards in a cloud of dust. And now you see this offensive line, especially Barton at the point of attack. And then, on top of it, you still have Tristan Wirfs, you have Luke Haggerty, you have Peterson there at the left guard spot, you have Cody there at right guard. So I think the sky's the limit. And
you got to remember, Tristan Wirfs is like the oldest person on the offensive line.
Yes,
and he's 25.
Yeah,
like these guys could be together for a long time.
Sure, absolutely.
And I mean, if we can keep Baker upright, he has shown us that he has the potential. I don't want to say an MVP candidate, but I mean, you don't know where this team's going to go.
Yeah.
As long as we limit the turnovers and we run the damn ball, I mean, our receivers are going to do their jobs.
Correct. You're absolutely correct about that. Yes.
And our defense, I mean, Todd Bowles' defense is always a good defense. It might not be great every year, but Todd Bowles is always going to give you a good defense every year.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know, it's always refreshing to see. And, these other analysts don't ever give the Bucs a chance, but what? I want them to doubt us. And then when we show up at the end of the year in the playoffs, just eat crow. Simple as that.
Well, that's it. And look, this team, and you heard this in the offseason, you heard it last year, the direct reflection of this team is Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield likes to play with a chip on his shoulder. So if the national media, Colin Cowherd and, the gang of ESPN and Fox Sports, if they continue to disrespect this team, just let this team put it out in the field. Prove them wrong like they did last year. Yeah.
Let's use Mike Evans as an example.
Correct.
Mike Evans never gets talked about as a top 5 receiver.
Why? Because he goes about it as a professional. He's not a diva. Yeah.
But every year he's the model of consistency.
Correct.
Every single year.
No matter
It
what
doesn't
quarterback he
It
plays
doesn't
with.
matter who the quarterback is.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you line him up on the field. He's the model of consistency every single year.
Yeah. You're exactly right,
And
Curtis.
and when Chris Godwin gets back to his form, oh my God, the sky's the limit. I mean, and I love Trey Palmer. I love McMillan. Like these, oh my God, this team has the potential to do great things.
That's why I said 12 wins. You know, a lot of
Yep.
people say, you know, temper your expectation. Well, actually, I think I said 11 wins. 11 wins, 11-6. I'm going to go 11-6 with this team at this point. I definitely think they could do some big things, and it starts with that schedule, getting off to a good start, because you definitely have some tough games in there. You know, Washington, the unknown with a rookie quarterback. Then the second game, right?
You know what?
Go
You know
to
what
Detroit.
makes me nervous about that guy?
Right,
Remember how RG3 first came out with Washington?
right.
That's what I feel like this kid is going to be.
Very talented player.
I feel like he's a better passer than RG3 was.
Agree. Completely agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't even know that they traded their receiver to the Eagles. And I'm like,
yeah, Jahan Dotson, I don't understand it at all. First round pick, and then gets traded for like, you know, a third? Round. I don't know why he fell out of favor.
In the division?
Yeah.
That doesn't happen.
That doesn't happen at all.
That'd be like the Bucs trading Mike Evans to. I mean, they're like trading Chris Godwin to the Saints.
Don't say that, because there was a report tonight that Mike Evans actually turned down more money to stay with Tampa Bay from the Rams. So can you imagine Mike Evans going to the Rams? Just dig that knife into my back and put it right through my heart, because the Rams, those son of a guns, with the history of the Bucs, defeating them in the 79 NFC Championship game, the 99 NFC Championship game. I'm sorry. And then also the division. God, there's a fly out here that won't just, he's relentless like the Rams are in that Bucs history.
What was it? The 2021 division playoffs?
Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. I know. Yeah.
So. But I just listen. This is still a young team.
Yes, very much so.
We have a very good good balance of young and old on this team.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say old. I'm gonna say veterans.
Agree. And
the sky's the limit. I mean, it's all based on injuries and team chemistry. It always is.
It is. It is, my friend. I'm gonna wrap it up there, because I'm gonna read the rest of these comments. I don't want them to turn out the lights. Again, I like to stay out here, but we'll definitely talk to you more here on the evolution of Sports Talk Television on Monday night at 9 o'clock. So keep on tuning in. And by the way, 15 days, my friend, until the NFL football season starts. All right.
Yep.
All right, brother. I'll see you later. Great call as always, Curtis there. Let me read the rest of these comments, and then we will get out of here for the night. Like I said, I would love to stay out here all night long. I just don't want to be the one that's in the dark. So let's go ahead and read those comments. Wow, it looks like nobody came to play. Exactly. Damn it, Jim. I know I missed your call, so we'll have to get your call some other time.
Damn it, Jim. What the hell's the matter with you?
Good evening, Peter Blake, Sports Web. Thank you, sir, for chiming in. As always, the starters came out clean without injuries. Exactly. Let's go out to Steven here. Hell yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Steven says, Peter, what do you think our record could be? Realistically, 11-6. Mark it down. I put my name on it. Peter Blake, the Rolex reporter, says 11-6 for your Tampa Bay Buccaneers. T24. Rob, impressive showing tonight from our rookies. Absolutely. Got you the link already. Christopher Cole Greer Jr. had a great night. He did. Michael, yes, great run defense tonight. Absolutely great comment.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Vita manhandled that center. He did. Absolutely. Let's go out to Broadway. V is the man. You know I'm right. You're making me stay late. I'm ready for the season. Sick of this preseason crap. I agree with you. B-U-C-C-A-N-E-E-R-S. Go Bucs. All right, there we go. And of course we get this right here. Let's go! Thank you for tuning in on YouTube. Hey, Peter, you are right. A potential trade to the Rams is the worst possible outcome. I pity the fools that live in that universe. Agree.
Oh, yeah.
Let's go out to Scott. Jalen McMillan was good too. Absolutely. Cole, my CSB brother right there. No, Peter, you are right. Mike going to the Rams. Okay. Thank you very much for writing in. Cole, Tristan, bring on week 1. Offense is stacked. The team is on Baker's shoulders. We go as far as he takes us. I agree. Scott, my only concern right now, and I'll give you that.
Oh, yeah.
My only concern right now is injuries and the third down conversions. Absolutely. With this defense, we're going to see. Did that carry over from last year? Can that defense get off the field, especially when it's 3rd and 10, 3rd and 12, 3rd and 15, or 3rd and 17? You got to get off the field if you want to be one of the top defenses in the league, and we know that Todd Bowles wants that. Let me go out to Christopher Cole. I'm glad that Wirfs is fleet of foot because he almost got rolled up on a screenplay. Good stuff, Christopher. Thanks a lot for tuning in.
Yeah.
Yes, we did hear about that live here on the JP Peterson Show. JP's in Dublin. I'm your host, Peter Blake, giving you something to think about. Let's see. Fire the cannons. Absolutely, we're going to fire the cannons. You know I'm right. Laugh out loud. That song is so offensive to the natives. Shame on you, Pete. You better stop. Come on now. Don't say that.
This guy sucks.
Let's go out to Scott. Thank you very much for all the Sports Web members, all the web heads tonight. Thank you very much. I know exactly where we're going. NFC South champs, Super Bowl champs. I like it. Kaza, this is a great live stream. Thank you very much. Appreciate you as always. And remember, guys, what is the Sports Web exactly? Is it a TV show? Is it a radio show? It's both without the station. And we do this before Bucs games at tailgates because I'm going to set all this stuff up before the game and then after the game on the field until they kick me out. And eventually they're going to kick me out. So I got to get out of here. Thank you very much. Go ahead and like and subscribe. 12 and 5. Jim, I don't know what that is. And good night. Good night to you, Jim.
Damn it, Jim, what the hell is the matter with you?
Let's go out to Instagram. Let's see here. Too good to be true. Hey, Spider, thanks a lot for tuning in there on Instagram.
Oh, yeah.
All right, so how do we sum up the night? Your Tampa Bay Buccaneers finish out the preseason 24-14 over the Miami Dolphins. The first drive, very impressive. 3 for 3 for Baker Mayfield. Of course, they looked just unbelievable on that first drive. Does it carry over versus the Washington Commanders on September 8th? We got 15 days to find out. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook. And do 3 things for me here on this late Friday night, Saturday morning. You know them. You love them. You got to have them. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. As always, go Bucs. TikTok Bucs fans, 15 days away.